some afternoons when I stand in the middle of my house holding a cleaning cloth, and I have no idea what to clean first. The kitchen is messy, the table is cluttered, the floor needs sweeping. But the heaviest mess is in my head, too much to do, and no clue where to begin. It's not just about tidying up. It's that sinking feeling, like I'm failing at keeping my own home under control. Every time I manage to clear one spot, something else explodes. Every time I put away the toys, I find another pile of paperwork. It feels like a never-ending battle. I wasn't born organized, but after burning out more times than I can count, I started finding small changes that were simple enough for me to stick to and effective enough that I didn't have to start over the next day. This video is about 7 of those things. Not to make your home look like Pinterest, but to help you breathe a little easier in your real lived-in space. If you've ever stood in your living room and sighed, maybe one of these tips will help you stop feeling like you're always starting from scratch. There was a time when I thought the only way to feel calm was to clean the whole house. I'd wait for a free afternoon block-off hours and try to tackle every room. And for a few hours, it looked like I'd done it. But by the next day, things would slowly creep back. Dishes, paper piles, random socks, and I'd feel defeated again. Then, one day, I tried something small. I picked one surface, the console by the front door, and decided it would stay clear no matter what. Even if the couch had toys and the sink had dishes, that little table, it stayed clean. It sounds small. It is small. But that one clear spot became my little visual anchor. Every time I walked past it, I felt like, okay, I've got at least one thing under control. Later, I added a second calm spot, my nightstand. I stopped letting it collect phone chargers, books, receipts, hair ties, all the things I used to say, I'll put this away later. Now it holds only 3 things, a small lamp, a coaster for water, and one book. That's it. And when I lay down at night looking at that little tidy corner, I feel less heavy. Like I'm not drowning in stuff, like this house still belongs to me, not the mess. If everything feels like too much, don't start with the floor or the closets or the overflowing drawer. Just pick one surface, keep it clear. Let that one calm space remind you you're not failing, you're just starting smaller. And if your home still feels cramped and you can't figure out why, come back tomorrow. I'll share a few things that might be quietly cluttering your space and how letting go of them can open up more room than you think. Let's start with a simple question that quietly changed how much clutter entered my home. Am I willing to clean this every week? Once you've managed to keep one spot clear, something starts to become obvious. Maybe the problem isn't that you're bad at cleaning. Maybe there's just too much to clean. And truthfully, a lot of it we brought in ourselves. I used to fall for little things all the time, a cute wooden tray, a storage box with a lid, a minimalist glass jar that could go anywhere. They seemed harmless, but a few weeks later I was moving them, wiping them, making space around them, and I was tired. So I started doing something simple. Before I buy anything new, no matter how small, I stop and ask myself, am I willing to clean, store, and find a place for this every single week? It sounds silly, but that one question has saved me from so many impulse buys. I once almost bought a mini juicer compact, affordable, looked great on the counter. But then I imagined disassembling it every time, washing each part, finding space in a kitchen that's already full, wiping it when it gets dusty. I realized, no, it's not worth the extra task, because every time we bring something new into our home, we're not just adding a thing. We're adding a responsibility, something to lift, to clean, to find a home for again and again. Sometimes the reason your house feels messy isn't because you're not cleaning enough. It's because you're trying to manage too much and most of it doesn't actually serve you. Choosing carefully now makes tidying later a lot easier. And once you've reduced what comes in, it's so much easier to stay on top of what's already here. But even when you've stopped bringing in too much, you might run into another problem, one I've lived through so many times. You organize something, but the next day, it's back to chaos. Not because of you, but because no one else in the house knows where anything goes. And that's where the next tip comes in. Next, let's move into one small shift That made a huge difference labeling things, so I wasn't the only one who knew where stuff belonged. Have you ever felt this? You just finished tidying. Everything had its place. But the next day, it's all back to chaos, not because you messed it up, but because no one else knew where anything belonged. I used to get so frustrated and not even know who to blame. I organized my kids' desk drawer, pencils, scissors, glue sticks, everything neatly sorted. The next day, toys mixed with supplies markers in the sock drawer, paper shoved randomly. I asked, "Why didn't you put things back?" And my kids simply said, "I didn't know where they go. You didn't tell me." That was the moment I realized I can't expect other people to keep order when I'm the only one who knows the system. So I started doing something simple, labeling. Nothing fancy, just white paper, black marker, and clear tape. I labeled every bin, every drawer, every shelf, crafts, clean socks, small toys, chargers. Sometimes I even added little drawings because honestly, my husband reads the labels but doesn't remember them. And something small started to shift. Fewer questions. More people putting things away on their own. And best of all, messes came back slower. I realized it's not always about cleaning harder. Sometimes it's about letting others share the responsibility without needing you to direct them every step. Labels aren't about aesthetics. They're about mental relief. They're a way of saying, this doesn't live in my head anymore, now it lives here, and everyone can see it. But if the clutter that overwhelms you most isn't toys or random stuff, it's paper, then the next tip is something I truly wish I had learned years earlier. Now, let's talk about a sneaky source of stress that builds up faster than we expect: paper clutter. Once my home started feeling a little less chaotic, I noticed something funny. There was one kind of clutter that looked harmless, small, flat, lightweight, but somehow made me feel more overwhelmed than anything else. Paper. You probably know the feeling. A bill on the dining table, a school note in a bag, a receipt pulled from a pocket and dropped on the kitchen counter. One piece seems fine, then there are three, then there's a pile, and suddenly you've got a growing stack that's always waiting for later. At one point, I had an entire dining chair taken over by papers, not on purpose, but there was just no better place to put them. And every time I needed something important, I had to dig. It made me feel completely out of control. So I did something simple. I created 3 landing spots for paper in my home. A box for long-term important documents, birth certificates, insurance papers, home stuff. Things I rarely need but must keep safe. A small basket in a kitchen drawer where I toss new papers, unopened mail flyers, or bills I haven't looked at yet. An action tray near the fridge where I place anything that needs to be done soon, school slips to sign, bills to pay, etc. Then, once a week I give myself 10 minutes to go through the temporary basket. If it's worth keeping, it goes in the long-term box. If it needs action, it moves to the tray. If it's done or not needed, I toss it right away since doing this paper doesn't end up all over the place anymore. And more importantly, my mind doesn't feel scattered by it either. You don't need a fancy filing system. You just need 3 clear places, one for keeping, one for waiting, and one that says, do this now. Paper won't disappear by itself, but if you create a clear path for it, it won't take over your home or your head. And if you're living with young kids or feel like toys and random little things take over your home after every meal, the next tip will help you reclaim part of your space without taking away their joy. The next issue is one you'll definitely relate to if you live with little one's toy overflow that makes your home feel more like a playroom than a place to rest. There was a time when our living room didn't feel like a living room anymore. The floor was covered in toy cars, the table had stacks of coloring books, and the couch, well, it belonged to 2 teddy bears and a life-sized stuffed shark. I felt tired and unsure of what to do. I didn't want to take away my kids' joy or turn our home into a museum. But I did want one space where I wouldn't trip over plastic every time I walked by. And more than that, I wanted the house to feel like ours again, not just a playroom with a kitchen attached. After trying a bunch of different systems, I landed on something that actually worked: toy rotation. I got 2 sets of cube storage shelves, one in the living room, one tucked away in a corner of the bedroom. I divided toys into smaller groups, and once a month I swap out the bins. Whatever was out goes into hiding and something new takes its place. For the kids, it's like getting brand new toys. For me, it's square footage. I get back in peace of mind. And funny enough, they play more with fewer toys because they're not overwhelmed. The second thing I do is create a waiting zone for toys they don't use much. Not the trash, not the donation bin, just a clear container with a lid and a label with the date. If my kids don't ask for something in 6 months, I quietly donate it. If it's something that used to mean a lot, I'll wait a year. I know it sounds sneaky, but if I ask them directly, the answer is always keep it. Doing this regularly has helped me declutter without guilt. Because I've learned, I don't have to keep everything just because it used to matter. And once you've cleared a little more space, something shifts. Suddenly, your home feels lighter. But even then, the to-do list stays long. That's why the next tip is all about choosing what actually matters today instead of chasing the illusion of getting it all done. Then, even when the house looked tidier, I noticed something unexpected. My brain was still overwhelmed, not by stuff, but by my endless to-do list. When my home started feeling a bit less cluttered, I expected to feel more relaxed. But oddly enough, my mind was still racing, because without the visual mess everywhere, I started noticing all the tasks I hadn't done. Washing the car, cleaning under the bed, organizing old photo albums. The list grew longer the more I looked, and instead of feeling proud of my progress, I felt like I was falling behind, like I wasn't a real adult who had her life together. But then I realized something very simple: I don't have to do everything. I just have to do the right things first. So I asked myself, what task, if I finished it today, would actually make my home feel lighter? It wasn't dusting the light fixtures. It wasn't vacuuming behind the bookshelf. It was doing the dishes, clearing the sink, wiping the stove. Because every time I did those 3 things, I could walk into the kitchen and breathe easier. I call these my sanity tasks. Everyone's are different. For you, it might be tidying up the shoes near the door, or emptying the trash in the living room, or folding the blankets on the couch. What matters isn't doing it perfectly. It's doing what actually helps you. I wrote mine down on a sticky note and put it on the fridge. Every day, I just try to do those 3 things first. Some days I get through all of them. Some days I only manage one. But either way, I stop feeling like I failed just because I didn't tick off 20 tasks from a to-do list. And if you want a quiet way to keep these tasks in focus, one little shift that'll help you remember them without overwhelm, that's exactly what the next tip is about. And finally, here's one gentle shift that helped me stop carrying everything in my head, letting a notebook do the remembering. It hit me. I was trying to hold everything in my head, and no wonder I was exhausted. So I made one small change. I placed a simple little notebook right where I spend most of my time, the kitchen counter. This isn't a planner. It's not color-coded. It's just a safe place where all my not now thoughts can go. Anything that doesn't need to be done right this second goes in there. Random thoughts, future errands, even stuff like ask the doctor about that thing next visit, it all gets written down. And once I write it down, I close the notebook and move on. Doing this freed up so much mental space, because now I don't need to remember everything. I just need to check one small place. And weirdly enough, I actually get more done because my brain isn't too busy trying to remember it all. And if even one of these tips helped your mind feel a little lighter today, you're going to love tomorrow's video. Because chances are, there are 20 things in your home right now quietly stealing your space, and we're going to uncover them together. You don't need to change your whole life overnight. Sometimes it just takes one small shift and things start to feel more manageable. If even one of these ideas helped you breathe a little easier today, then it's already worth it. And if you're trying to save time, clear your head, or just not feel behind all the time, try just one of these steps this week. Tomorrow's video is a special one. We're diving into 20 everyday things that might be stealing your space without you noticing. It's the one I wish I had seen sooner, and I hope it helps you catch a breath in your own home too. If this video brought you any peace, feel free to like or subscribe. It helps me know what truly supports you.